Hey guys, me again, it's Mr. Decker. So we are still on lesson 6, but we're working our way through bubbles 9 through 13 in this video. So let's get started, shall we? All right, change. In the last level, the program only got the interval value from the slider when you pressed the left button. Sometimes though, you'll want to change the interval of the LED as soon as the user chooses a new value. For that, you'll need the change event. Okay, do this. Look at the first event block in the program and find where it says change. All right, so first event block in the program, find where it says change. So on event, interval, change. Remembering that the on events are events that are happening on our app, and on board events are events that are happening on our circuit playground. Okay, so we found change here. Inside the event block, get the interval value from the slider and use it to make the LED blink at that new rate. Okay. And then we'll run the program moving the slider to see whether the LED speed changes automatically. So let's see, remembering that for our onboard event, we had to set up a variable. So let's do that first. And we'll call this one change. All right. And then back in the UI controls drawer, we'll get property. We're going to get the property of the interval, which is this slider. And we want its value. All right. And then we're going to have to tie that variable to the LED blink, short or long blinks. So back to the circuit drawer, LED blink. And we're going to tie the interval rate or value to the change variable, which is getting its information from the slider. All right, so let's run the program. Let's make me bigger so we can see what's going on. And on the board itself, we should see, let's see, so I got to press the left button first, and it's blinking really fast. If I increase that, it starts blinking in longer intervals. And the further I go up, the longer those intervals get. So that's cool. So it instantly updates without having to press anything on the board. Really neat. All right. Let's move on to bubble 10. So we'll finish and continue, and let's get my big head out of the way. All right, on bubble 10, I'm going to version history mine. All right, so change. This program has events that detect 3 different changes: the toggle switch, the interval slider, and the frequency slider. All right. Because there are so many different things that cause the LED and buzzer to reset, it uses functions to organize the code. All right. And on our app, we've got an LED control with an ID of interval, and we've got a buzzer control with an ID of frequency. So this buzzer should change the frequency to low or high, and this interval for the LED will be short intervals or long intervals. All right. So let's see. It says read the update LED function to see what it does. Where's update LED? here's the update LED function. So we've got variable interval gets get property interval value. So this variable is going to be tied to the interval value on this slider. And then we've got an if statement. So if toggle switch is open, again, on the board, that toggle switch is right here. And that can be opened or closed. If the toggle switch is open, then the LED will blink at the interval rate or interval value, tying it to that variable. Else, the LED is off. So if the toggle switch is closed, this isn't true, then the LED is not going to blink. All right. And then it says add code to update buzzer. Here's the update buzzer function. To make the buzzer only turn on when the toggle switch is open. Okay. To only turn on when the toggle switch is open. So I think we just need an if statement here. So control, we're going to grab an if else. And let's see, we need toggle switch. If toggle switch is open, there it is. Okay. Then we'll set the buzzer frequency. And we need to tie that to this variable here. So we'll put the name of that variable in. We'll leave this value alone because we're just messing with the frequency, not the duration. Although I am going to change the duration to 500 so that we can get a better idea. And then else, if the toggle switch is closed, I want the buzzer to stop. Okay. So let's run this. And we'll test it out on our board. So let's get a better visual of that. So get that out of the way. So right now the sliders are all the way down. And let's see, actually, let's read some more of this code to make sure. Okay, so on board event, toggle switch change, updating on event. All right, so it should just work, right? So toggle switch, let's switch the toggle switch over. There we go. So our LED is blinking really fast, and you heard the buzzer. Right, let me switch that back off and then back on again. So off, the blink turns off, and there's the buzzer. So let's increase the frequency and slow that interval rate down, or make that interval rate longer. And so right now my toggle switch is on. So every time I update this, it's going to give me a result. Well, that's fun. Okay, so that was bubble 10. Let's jump over to bubble 11, shall we? All right, let's see. We've got a lot going on our app now. Okay, and it looks like 50 lines of code. Wow. All right. So let me version history this. Let me make sure we're still recording. And yeah. Okay, we're about 10 minutes in. So the LED and buzzer controller. This program operates the LED and the buzzer, but it has some problems. do this. Read the program to understand how it's supposed to work. Find and correct the bugs so that the program works properly. So let's look at our app over here. We've got an LED type. So let's run it. I'm sure it's going to throw a lot of errors at us. So let's look at this. So we've got constant blink pulse. So, and then we've got fast and slow slider here. And that can be moved around. We've got use the toggle switch to turn the LED on and off. Buzzer controls. So we can, so for the buzzer now we can change the duration and the frequency. And we can press board buttons to turn the buzzer on and off. So there's a lot happening with this app. So let's find these errors and correct the bugs. Make this work correctly. So right here, on event, LED type change function, update LED. So what's wrong with this? LED type hasn't been declared yet. Okay. So let's think. So on event LED type, where's LED type? That's this. Okay, so that's not a variable. That's a ID. And I bet you LED speed. Okay, yep, that's also an ID. So that fixes those errors. All right, so moving down. Oh, weird. What is this? LED on. Oh, so over here, it should be this block, not like this. So we'll throw that in the trash, or throw that back in the toolbox, and we'll use LED on there. That gets rid of that error report. And then for conditionals, use the comparison operator equals to check if two things are equal. Right, so this shouldn't be LED type gets blink. It should be the double equal sign. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click show text. And I'm going to put another equal sign there. Show blocks. All right, that I think fixes that one. Any other errors? I don't see any other errors. Let's run it and see. Oh, line 19, type error. T.on is not a function. Line 19. What does that mean? T.on is not a function. Duration change. Oh, wait. Yeah, changing the duration isn't going to be an onboard event. That should be an on event because we're changing the duration of the buzzer. Let's reset. We're changing the duration on the app. So this should be an on event, not an onboard event. So let's show text again. Let's take board out of that. So it should just be on event. Show box. Let's run it. We've got on event buzzer frequency throwing us an error. ID parameter refers to an ID buzzer frequency, which doesn't exist. When it should be just frequency. So we need to check get frequency from here. Where is it? There it is. All right, so now let's run it and see if we get any other errors. No, I think we've fixed it. So let's test things out. Make sure we don't get any more error codes thrown at us. So here's the board. All right, so use the toggle switch to turn the LED on and off. That's making the buzzer sound. Oh, there it is. So, okay. So I've got the toggle switch on, open, and let me find it. Oop. Close it, and the LED turns off. If I turn it back on, right? And then I'm pressing this button, it's making the buzzer sound on. And then if I change this to blink, now it's blinking super fast. If I can slow that down. I can speed it back up super fast. Hard to see on camera. Slowing it down. Let's change it to pulse. Now it's pulsing. All right, so that's working. And then the buzzer control. Oh, wait. You know what? These are inverted. So let's go fix that, because right now the short, long, yeah, let's go find that error. Whoops, keep working. Reset. All right, so on the buzzer, play buzzer. So duration change, play buzzer, frequency change, play buzzer. And button L will also activate it. Okay, all of this stuff is LEDs. So the error must be down in the play buzzer function. So let's go down to the play buzzer function. Let's see, so frequency, oh, okay. So it's tying, so you look right here on line 49, buzzer.frequency, duration, and frequency. So we need to put frequency here and duration here. Now let's run it and see if that fixes that little problem. So now, oh yeah, it's working as intended now. Perfect. All right, very cool. Let's move on to bubble 12. Whew. All right, finish, continue, get my big head out of the way. All right, movement with properties. Earlier, we used set property to change the X and Y position of elements on the screen, but we could only move them to either a single specific location or a random location. By using get property, oh, let me version history mine. Okay, now let's start that over again. Movement with properties. Earlier we used set property to change the X and Y position of elements on the screen, but we could only move them to either a single specific location or a random location. By using get property to find out an element's current position, we can use the counter pattern from unit 3 to update that position. Okay. So unit 3 was the unit on animations in games, and using the counter pattern is what we did to make, so like if you were making something move from left to right on X, right? You use the counter pattern to update the position constantly in a draw loop to move it across the screen. And then if you wanted it to move on Y, up or down, right, using the counter pattern for that. All right. Do this. Read the program and see how the left button makes the motorcycle go up. All right, so on line 2, we've got a variable for speed gets 10. All right. And then down here, we have an onboard event. When button L is pressed, variable Y, get property motorcycle Y, set property motorcycle Y, Y minus speed. So Y being the variable created within the board event, getting the property of the motorcycle's Y. So the Y value of the motorcycle, and it's going to subtract from speed. So Y minus speed. I think that when we hit button L on the board, the motorcycle is going to go up. So let's run it. Let's hit the left button. Yep. So it doesn't constantly go up, but every time you click it, the motorcycle does go up by 10 pixels. So reset. All right, using the working left button as an example, program the right button to make the motorcycle go down. So, okay, so let's make the motorcycle go down. I'm going to move me. So we need an onboard event. And we want the motorcycle to go down. So we're going to use the button R. Down. Looks like that one says, where'd they get pressed from? I mean, it works, so I'll leave it, but it's not even an option. So we'll go with down. Okay. Program the right button to make the motorcycle go down. Right. So we need to set. So let's use this as a model. So let's go ahead and variable Y. And we'll go into UI controls, get property of the motorcycle Y. And then we'll set the property of motorcycle. Hang on. Why didn't it? Okay. Motorcycle Y. And then we need to go to math. And we're adding to Y to make it go down. So Y plus speed. And the speed is always 10 because of the variable speed gets 10 up here. So let's run it and see. So the left button's making it go up. Right button's making it go down. All right, we got that working. Cool. All right, we'll finish and continue to the next bubble. Bubble 13, the last bubble. Add your own elements. Now it's time to add some elements of your own. Let's move me so I can read. The motorcycle should be able to move up and down right now, but can you control its speed? do this. Add a slider in design mode. Okay, so let's jump over to design. Let's get some of that out of our way. Oop, too far. Add a slider in design mode. So let's find the slider. There it is. We'll just plop it there. And yeah, sure, that's a fine ID. Slider 1, and then we probably have a minimum and a maximum value. Minimum, let's say the minimum of 5 and a max value of 50, sure. So at the far left end of the slider, its minimum value is 5, and at the far right end of the slider, its maximum value is 50. Oh no, maximum value is 100. Let's change that. So the default value, this is the default value that it will start with. Let's make this 50 for max, and then the default 25. All right, step size of 1, that's fine. So back to the code. We've got our slider added in design mode. Make sure you set the minimum and max values of the slider in design mode. Yeah, we did that part. And then create an event that will trigger when the slider value is changed. Okay, so we'll have an on event. And slider 1. Change when slider 1 changes, right, up or down, then we need to tie it to this variable because we're changing this value. So at the beginning of the program, speed is 10. Then we're updating that value, so we'll use this one. We're not declaring a variable, we're calling or assigning a variable. So speed. And then we'll get property of slider 1's value. Oh, we've got some error codes. What's going on? Event is defined, but is not called in your program. Oh, because that's the name. Yeah, and then read only. I don't know why that says read only. All right, let's see if this works. So if I go down to minimum, it should move up and down at 5. So up works, down works. Let's change the value of the slider to like right in the middle. So it should be, what, 25? Yeah, okay. That's working. And let's make it do big jumps. So 50. And actually, let's go back to design and change the max value. Let's change that back to 100. Go back into the code. And let's run this again. So at 100, it should be pretty big jumps. Oh yeah, there we go. And then sliding this back down. Sweet, that works. All right, that's it for lesson 6, bubbles 9 through 13. I hope you enjoyed this as much as I did. We're learning a lot.